You buy a pair of socks, that's 2 socks. You buy a pair of Bombas socks, that's 4 socks. Because one purchased is one donated. Socks are the #1 most requested clothing item in homeless shelters. So when you buy a pair of super comfortable Bombas socks, you're also donating a pair. Bombas customers have powered over 150 million donations. So Bombas would like to thank you 150 million times. But we only have like 30 seconds. Go to bombas.com and use code AUDIO for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com and use code AUDIO at checkout.
This is Hannah Berner from Giggly Squad. O-Pill is the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the U.S. Let's be real, getting a birth control prescription is not always easy, and it's so much admin. In fact, about a third of women face barriers to access prescription birth control. Between scheduling appointments, missing work, class, or just trying to exist, it's a lot. But now O-Pill is putting birth control in our control. O-Pill is a daily birth control that's FDA approved, full prescription strength, and estrogen free, and 98% effective when used as directed. Grab it online or at most major retailers, no prescription or doctor's appointment needed. So if you're thinking about birth control, check out O-Pill to see if it's right for you. Use code GIGGLY for 25% off your first month of O-Pill at OPILL.com. That's code GIGGLY at OPILL.com. Birth control in your control. We love to see it.
The kettle's boiled, Vic.
Great. Perfect timing. Just a dash of milk for me, please, mate.
Here you go. Shall we get started then?
Have you ever woken up on a Sunday morning and said, I'm never drinking again, and then found yourself waving $50 at a barman by happy hour?
Are you wondering why everyone else can stop at 1 while you head to a dodgy after-party with a weird bloke called Disco Dave? If so, it might be time to take a deeper look at your relationship with your reliable social crutch, alcohol.
On each episode, we'll investigate our own dysfunctional dealings with booze and find out if it's possible to stop this deeply ingrained habit before things get too messy.
Yep, we're going to open up a shame shed of humiliating drinking stories to help you understand why waking up from a booze coma each weekend with a kebab sticking out of your top pocket might actually be negatively impacting your health.
Hamish and I are here to delve into what it's like being sober, an unwanted warts and all look into why giving up those cheeky pints or putting down those mummy wines will make you feel happier, help your anxiety and mental health, and turn you into the most sparkly, authentic version of you.
Won't that mean I become boring though, Vic?
Well, Hamish, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm Victoria Vanstone.
I'm Hamish Adams-Cairns.
And this is Sober Awkward. From your recent financial scam, Hamish, which I know you probably don't want to be reminded of, have you ever been conned?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Yes, in short, I am a con-friendly kind of guy. If you're looking to con someone, I'm available. In about the last month or two, I bought a new TV, got it here. It wasn't working. I was like messaging her on Facebook, like, hey, it's not working the way that I thought. Like, I'll play around with the settings. She was like, oh yeah, just, keep doing this and that. And it was working last weekend. And then it really stopped working, and she went silent.
Of course she did.
Which I don't think I could do as a Facebook marketplacer. I picked it up from her house. I know where she lives in the least creepy way.
Oh my God.
So that happened. Yeah. And then a shared one for us, Vic, was our videographer at the London Live Show.
Oh gosh, Hamish, please don't remind me of that.
Yeah. We know what I realised recently as well was we actually overpaid her as well. Remember, we both made one final payment to her.
What?
And only one of us should have done it. It's like, we've paid her 50 quid more than we should. And she was... A scam might be strong, but she certainly wasn't a videographer. It might have been her first time behind the camera.
Very shaky hand. You can't be a videographer with no tripod and have the most... Oh, I can't even go there because actually it makes me feel angry inside. You can't sell yourself as doing a job and then do such a bad job. And we paid in advance, didn't we? So there was nothing we could do.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that was the worst.
And we did not use any of the footage for anything.
No, it's absolutely awful. That was my fault, Hamish. I'm sorry. But when people email you and say they're a videographer for their job, you expect that at least they could hold the phone.
Nice to have a shared scam, though. Nice to be able to bring that to the table for this episode. So in a way, it was worth it.
I'm sure, Hamish, that we're going to have a few more shared scams throughout our podcasting lives together, because we are targets for scams, aren't we?
Yeah. Let's hope so. Let's hope we have more shared scams together.
It's because we believe...
Well, have you got any scams?
Not really.
Any scams?
When I was in India once, I was chatting to a guy on the road and he was really friendly and I was having this brilliant chat with him. And then suddenly he appeared. He'd had his hands behind his back the whole time. And suddenly he held a piece of wood in front of me that had my name on it. And
Okay.
so while I'd been chatting with him, behind his back, he'd carved my name into a piece of wood while he was chatting and found out all this information. And then he asked me to buy it off him, which obviously I did because it had my name on it. What could I do?
I don't think that's a con. I think that's an impressive magic trick.
Okay, yeah. Well, exactly. That's why I didn't feel con because I had a piece of wood with my name on it afterwards. So actually,
Have you still
I
got
felt
it?
quite happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually, Hamish, I'm going to do a very good segue right now. I think the biggest way I have been conned throughout my life, in fact, my 25 years of binge drinking, was just by being a total booze bag for my entire life. Something that came up for me when I listened to our recent episode about alcohol and advertising was a very strong feeling of unease. I felt a bit icky, Hamish, as Anna, our guest, spoke about how the agencies specifically pink drinks and really target campaigns to people's weaknesses and vulnerabilities, like the tired mums and the hard-working dads and the 20-somethings that drink tequila. It left me thinking, does it go deeper than this societal brainwashing and normalising of booze? Is there something a little darker at play, a great big con that is so ingrained that no one can fight back?
I think we both know that there probably is.
Ooh.
Are we going to muster the courage to fight the big corporations today, though, Vic? Bring down the government for convincing us that we need a drink to be part of this crazy world we live in? Is that what we're taking on in one episode?
I think we are, Hamish. I think we're going to address this icky feeling that we have that it's something bigger than ourselves or something bigger than even the culture that we dip our toe into so often. It's a little bit of a scary episode today, everyone, so be afraid.
Today's episode is brought to you by nobody at all, because we're about to absolutely roast the alcohol industry and possibly the government. So buckle up. We could be in the running for some juicy court cases here, more than usual. Today, we're going deeper than ever. The tricks, the politics, the emotional manipulation, and see it all for what it is. A big, yucky, sticky, and ever so slightly scary con. So when we talk about booze being a bit of a scam, Vic, what aspects are we talking about? Is it the trick that we play on ourselves that we can believe we can drink normally, or are we going to be less personal than that today?
Well, the good thing is, Hamish, we're going less personal. Today, we're taking the blame away from the user, and we're going to look at who is making money out of the drinkers and what systems are designed that keep us in patterns that convince us to continually buy what is poison and throw it down our necks like Popeye without really thinking about it. Today, we're going to give you a new reason to quit drinking that has nothing to do with health, addiction, social anxiety, or loneliness or trauma or any of the other reasons people might drink. Today, you're going to end up wanting to quit, to stop filling the bank accounts of the government and massive alcohol brands. I'm going to start, Hamish, I'm just going to interrupt this here to add some very, very quick, boring stats for you.
Oh, yippee. Boring stats.
Very boring stats, everything.
Great.
I know everybody loves them. Yeah, woohoo! We're going to base our research in Australia today that has a population of 26 million. So you can do your own maths and work out how much higher these numbers would be in the UK and the USA. The population, I think, of the UK is about 68 million, and in the US it's 340 million. Right, so times these stats by gazillion, basically. In Australia, the alcoholic drinks market generated 27 billion in 2024, in 1 year. This market is expected to continue to grow with a projected 4.2 annual growth rate until 2034, potentially reaching over $41 billion. It's huge profits lining the pockets of few people and filling up hospital beds all over the world of people that have not, according to the government, drank responsibly. We hear that a lot, that term, don't we, Haim?
So before we get stuck in, how does this idea sit with you? That alcohol might just be one big con sold to the masses so a handful of people can make an enormous fortune. You know, when you drank, Vic, did you know that boozing was a con?
I thought the only big booze con was either when the barman didn't fill my wine glass to the line, when my Foster's was watered down, or when someone sneakily poured me a mid-strength beer instead of a full-strength one and thought I wouldn't notice. Those were the cons. I thought they were more personal, like we chatted about earlier. I thought my drinking was my responsibility, and I never looked outside of that. Turns out the biggest con of all might have been everything else. The way alcohol is sold to us as a reward, a personality upgrade, a stress reliever, a parenting tool, a must-have at every event from baby showers to funerals. It's so deeply stitched into our lives that we don't even question it. We just raise a glass and carry on. As a drinker, Haim, when you were a drinker 1,000 days ago, have you ever thought about it being a big con?
I kind of feel the same way about this as you did about your wooden plank.
Okay.
So I kind of feel like it doesn't irritate us until somebody tells us it's a con. You were happy that you bought a wooden plank with your name on that someone had written behind their back. Like, yeah, that's probably worth 20 quid or whatever it was. Similar to me and booze. I was like, yeah, like we all drink all the time and that's just normal. I'm happy to give my money to alcohol companies that sell me this booze. And then it wasn't until I became sober that this concept was presented to me that, are you not questioning, why no one's doing anything about stopping alcohol, given that the amount of money that people are making from tax, etc. And then it's like, it's kind of like you're seeing how the sausage is made and then you get the ick and it kind of irritates you. So that's how I feel about it. 'Cause when I was a drinker, I could not wait to reach the age where I could drink. And then when I was drinking, I loved the idea of like visiting small microbreweries and being really into beers that no one else was because they were small rather than Foster's. And I enjoyed getting drunk.
It's funny, like what you're saying there is like you felt like that the alcohol industries were providing a service, that they were allowing you to choose. So it made it your choice to go into a bottle shop or to go into the offie in England and buy yourself a drink. So it's like, I want a service. I know that I want to have a drink because that's what everyone does. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. And also I think, I was young and naive and I am inherently not a conspiracy theorist. So even the idea that, the government's in on it, I'm like, it's probably bullshit. And then you look at it through the lens of a sober person, and you look at some of the stats and facts that you named earlier, and it does make you think. I'm still not a conspiracy theorist, but I can see why the government aren't necessarily encouraging us to stop drinking more than the odd drink responsibly line. How do you feel about it now you're sober then? Was it the same for you? Like, when was the con revealed to you, and how did it make you change how you feel?
Well, I think now that I've been sober for 7 years, it all sounds totally believable. But back then, I wouldn't have given it a second thought. I was too far deep in my wine-fueled fog to stop and question whether the whole booze industry might actually be a bit of a con. My biggest concern was kind of whose round is it? I remember, Hamish, a big moment for me in changing my opinion on this was when we spoke to ex-gambling addict Kate Cecilia a few years ago, and she introduced us to the term addiction by design. That phrase has 100% stuck with me. And honestly, I think it applies to alcohol too. It's a system, a strategy, a kind of slick bit of marketing that convinces us all it's fine. I used to think, well, if the government is selling it in pubs, clubs and bloody supermarkets, it can't be that bad, can it?
Yeah, that's right. We assume alcohol can't be harmful because it is everywhere. And sure, people have been knocking back pints and sipping cocktails for centuries, but the reality is alcohol is killing people and breaking up friends and families. Like gambling and drug use, it's harming many while lining the pockets of a few. And the wildest part is the responsibility gets shoved back onto us. Drink responsibly, gamble responsibly. It becomes your fault for starting and your fault for not knowing when to stop. Meanwhile, the bigwigs keep cashing in on all our chaos.
Yeah, cashing in on the chaos. It does feel a little bit like that. And I know if you are in your early stage of giving up drinking, listening to this, we might sound a bit radical. And actually, we haven't really approached this, have we, before, Hamish? We've kind of dipped our toe in it here and there and being like, oh, maybe it's a big con, maybe it's a big con. But we haven't actually really looked at this as it being such a huge issue. Let's just say, for example, without naming any names here, Hamish, but let's imagine that the government are involved in this con. How are they making money from it? And surely any profit from booze has to go back into helping people with addictions, right?
Well, sort of. So in 24-25, that financial year, the Australian government expects to collect approximately $7.8 billion in tax from alcoholic beverages. Beer is obviously a major contributor, with $2.7 billion of that revenue coming from beer alone. The question is, where does all that booze tax money actually go?
Yeah,
Vic?
good question. In Australia, the government makes a huge chunk of change from taxing alcohol. It's called an excise tax, which means the tax is slapped on when the booze is made, not when you pick it up off the shelf. There's also something called a wine equalisation tax, yep, real name, which basically taxes wine and fruit-based alcohol differently.
Now, these taxes aren't just there to fill government reserves. They're often called sin taxes because they're designed to make drinking more expensive, which should help reduce harm. This is a ridiculous idea, by the way. In theory, the revenue raised helps to offset the costs alcohol causes. Think hospital visits, road accidents, violence, poor mental health. But here's the kicker. The system isn't perfect. Some of these taxes, like the one on wine, actually encourage cheaper, more harmful products to flood the market. So while the idea is to reduce drinking and cover the social costs, we're still stuck in a cycle where the cheaper and more harmful the booze, the easier it is to make and sell and make a profit.
Ooh, that's where the tricky bit is, isn't it, Hamish? So the money isn't 100% going back into the people that need it. It sounds like a weird mix of profit and prevention, and it doesn't always hit the mark. It actually reminds me of that company in the USA that produces fentanyl and its antidote, the overdose drug Narcan. They create the problem and the solution, keeping everyone in a cycle not only of addiction, but being reliant on big pharma who produce these narcotics.
All we hear at Sober Awkward is that rehabs are not affordable, that those in extreme addiction can't get the support services they need.
Well, most of it just disappears into the big old government budget bucket, Hamish. There's no clear system that guarantees alcohol tax is spent on addiction services or public health campaigns. So while they're raking it in, billions, by the way, support services are often underfunded and overwhelmed.
Basically, they profit off our drinking and leave us to clean up the mess. Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers to that. Bloody hell. So it takes me a while to take this information in, and I probably will, those people listening, but sit with us because this is important. It is like a mass brainwashing a little bit with a soft blow dry of corruption. We are trained to believe that booze is okay. It's a lifestyle. We are, by various means, convinced that drinking is what we should do to relax and connect, when in fact it's the opposite. I'm getting really worked up about this one, hey. I can feel it. My heckles, is that the word? My heckles are standing on end. I think that's steam coming out of your ears as well, isn't it?
No, that's just my chai.
Oh.
Sorry about that. Too close to the mic. Who else, apart from the government, is benefiting from splashy consumers? Who really profits when people drink more?
Well, there's loads of people, actually. Corporations, major alcohol companies rake in billions selling a product that costs little to make, but is marketed as an essential tool in modern life. The more you drink, the more they sell, and the more their shareholders smile.
The hospitality and events companies, bars, pubs, festivals and venues often rely on alcohol sales to stay afloat. Booze is their biggest moneymaker, which is why drink deals are splashed across every menu and event promo.
Oh, yeah, that is so visible, isn't it? Like we see that every time you leave the house. Even parts of the media, as we heard from our brilliant guest Anna, advertising revenue from alcohol brands is huge. So it's no surprise that media outlets avoid criticising the booze industry so much. Why bite the hand that pays for your ad space? So true. I will say that this week I was going through Eventbrite because I was trying to do some talking events, talking about my new book and stuff. And I was going through women's empowerment events that are happening locally to me. And every single one of them was either a paint and sip, a champers lunch, or a bottomless brunch. Every single social situation that was meant to be about empowering women had booze at the crux of it. It made it sound like the only way we can empower ourselves is by getting wasted. It was so disappointing.
The only one that I thought of when you mentioned that was Beers and Bubs. Have you heard about Beer and Bubs?
Yeah.
Beer and Bubs is like a group out here for expectant dads. The theory of it, I love. Loads of men meet together and talk about shared concerns about becoming a dad. My issue is that it's in a pub. It's called Beer and Bubs. I don't think we necessarily need to force the connection between you're becoming a parent, let's drink and deal with it. So I just thought it's a slightly unhealthy, it's fallen into the trap of being stereotypical. And whoa, wait, what do Aussie lads doing? We'll sit in pubs and talk about being dads. I think it's underselling and undervaluing Australian men is how I feel about it, although the message is amazing. So yeah, it's difficult. Like paint and sip, it's a fun activity, but can we not be more creative than doing art whilst drinking?
I totally agree with you, Hamish. Actually, I saw something really wonderful this week. You've just reminded me of it. It was a post my mum forwarded to me on the Noosa community page, and it said this. It was from a guy called Angus Smith. Hello, Angus, if you're out there. This post is for men who want to drink less but keep slipping up on the weekends. And it was a local guy who's starting something called the Friday knockoff session at his men's fitness club. So saying like, if you organise coming on a Friday evening to my workout gym, you might, reconsider your drinking habits for that night and the next day. So actually there are other things out there that are counteracting all of these kind of classic mums and bubs and dads drinking sessions. There are these little pockets of hope out there where people are addressing all the influences that we have and going, actually, this makes us feel like shit. Let's try something else and let's exercise together and bond in that way rather than going to the pub. So hopefully a lot more of those things will start popping up as time passes. But, it is like we're fighting against we're fighting against the government and big corporations here. So, it's unlikely that they will support those sort of things because no one's making money out of it at the end of the day, are they? Do you like it that I said at the end of the day there, Hamish? How does that make you feel?
Yeah, well, you'll be editing that out. I've to be honest, between you and me, I've had a few that I've had to recently edit with a few at the end of the day. At the end of the day is in your nose.
Oh, God.
Well, as soon as you start recording and editing a podcast, you are highly tuned to your nose, and at the end of the day.
At the end of the day is your nose and the
tell you what I'm okay with. I'm okay with an What I'm not good at is well, the reason I say is it's hard to edit out. That is challenging.
These challenging times of podcasters, Hamish. We're up against it, I tell you. I had a really radical thought, actually, Hamish, when I was writing this episode. I suddenly thought, perhaps, now you're going to love this, I think sobriety is maybe a quiet rebellion. Like that guy, maybe that's that's starting that exercise group on a Friday night. Maybe that's a quiet rebellion as well. And maybe sober people are a threat to the system.
Yeah, okay, I see where you're going with this. So I kind of agree. We're costing the government by not drinking highly taxed alcoholic produce, and we're costing the booze company themselves, whose millions spent on advertising is not really having such an effect on us. To be honest, bugger them both. Don't care about them. I do feel more sympathy for hospitality companies and pubs who I'm happy to support, and I kind of continue to visit without buying booze because I like them as a place to meet and gather and talk and socialise. So I feel more sympathetic towards hospitality and pubs than I do about the government and booze companies. Where do you sit on this? Do you feel like we're quiet rebellious?
Oh, yeah, I do. But I often feel like there's this horrible, icky feeling like I had at the beginning where I feel like sometimes the wrong people in this world are making all the money. It's just this kind of privileged few, isn't it? They call it the party bus, don't they, in America? It's like 50 people make most of the money in America. And
there's a Vic stat.
Yeah,
that's more.
Well,
like
I'll look up that stat bit probably in a minute. But yeah, there is something called the party bus where it's something about the 50 richest people in America making all the money. I don't know quite what it is, but look it up. I can't be asked. I do see people all over the place, especially on the Instagram, just making shit content, showing some thigh gaps and raking in a fortune. When here we are, Hamish, making some quality content that helps the universe, making nothing. The world, I feel, is very unfair sometimes. And it's the same with booze. The baddies are taking us well-meaning chaps for a ride, and the horse has got so far out of the stable that we don't know how to get off it.
Do you reckon we should film these podcasts and make sure the viewer can see our thighs and see if that helps?
There is no gap between my thighs.
No.
Ugh.
And I have no thighs. No. My thighs are just a continuation of my knee and my shin. It's pathetic.
My thighs rub together.
Maybe we need to reach out to a sponsor who can help with that. Body Glide or Vaseline or something.
I could probably work up some energy. I'd be like one of those windmills with the chafing.
You can start a fire. Just put chopsticks in between your legs and jump.
Yeah. Or I could sand something down if you put some sandpaper up there.
Bombas makes the most comfortable socks, underwear, and T-shirts.
Warning, Bombas are so absurdly comfortable you may throw out all your other clothes.
Sorry, do we legally have to say that?
No, this is just how I talk, and I really love my Bombas.
They do feel that good. And they do good, too. One item purchased equals one item donated.
To feel good and do good, go to bombas.com and use code AUDIO for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com and use code AUDIO at checkout.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, max out your savings. The more you buy, the more you save on beds, bases, and more. Plus, get free home delivery on any smart bed with base. Limited time. Check it out at a Sleep Number store near you or at sleepnumber.com today.
Okay, we digress. It was inevitably going to end up here, wasn't it? Okay, so I've got a few comments I'm going to make, not about your thighs.
Okay, good.
Firstly, I like the idea of the booze corpse being like crazy horses that have escaped. That was a nice analogy from you. It is a fun image. And about the cigar smoking booze company bigwigs and the cleavage peeping influencers making all the cash. I do think we need to discuss that OnlyFans page, though. Are you going to set one up? Are you up for that? How far would you go?
Yeah, well,
a thighs in?
Yeah, thighs in all the way, Hamish. Even my ankles. I'd go the whole hog. People would pay good money to see that verruca on my big toe, I think. And my fanny.
Well, that too. Would you be open to selling farts? You know, some people sell farts.
What?
Yeah, they put farts in like containers and then sell them. There's someone making a fortune in that. I'm sure I read that.
Oh my God, we are in the wrong game.
I would be very open to selling farts.
That's money for nothing.
Well, not nothing. Got to eat a lot of baked beans.
Yeah, I like baked beans.
There you go.
Okay, right. I know what I'm having for lunch then. Carry on.
Okay, so Vic's farts and gaping money pit aside, why is it hard to see the truth here?
Let's go from that, Hamish, to cultural indoctrination, if that's the word. Drinking is tied to everything.
Yeah, it does take a long time to unwind that and see it for what it is. As a result, I think we're brainwashed. And actually, we're brainwashed really young. You see dad with a beer after work. You see mum with a wine in the bath. When it's bedtime as a kid, you go upstairs and the parents open wine. And there's like, this is the cupboard that you're not allowed in because these drinks are for adults. You know, you become quite conscious of alcohol from quite a young age, I feel.
And I feel like with that, Hamish, if you sort of blame an outside source rather than the parents or the dad with the wine and all of those other things, it takes the blame off and it takes the pressure off as the drinker to go, okay, actually, maybe this isn't my fault. Maybe I've just been totally brainwashed into thinking that this is what we do as humans to have fun. And it actually can relieve a little bit of stress. I think peer pressure is actually backed by $1 billion message. And that's part of the problem, is that we feel like we need to drink because everybody drinks. But actually that has been created by an outside source. That feeling that we have has been specifically designed to make you feel like you want to be part of it. Actually, it's a bit like a cult, Hamish. It's very, very clever what they do. It's very, very manipulative, but it also takes a lot of time and effort to set that feeling up, doesn't it? And for us, it's taken hundreds and hundreds of years to make us believe it.
Interesting. I think that is true. Also, what I feel like is that we're actually up against it because of our genetics. I think I can make a fairly sweeping statement here, which is that basically human beings enjoy the feeling of being drunk. Right? To an extent, alcohol has an effect on humans that we enjoy. And because we are conditioned to want to repeat feelings that bring us joy, sadly, the chemical that is bringing that joy is A, incredibly addictive, and B, deadly. And our bodies don't really know what to do with that. You know, like, well, hang on, when I drink this, I feel good, so I want to carry on drinking that, but it's killing us. And I don't think we've got like the scientific genetic makeup to beat it very easily. I'm now wondering if the awkwardness that we feel when we're not drinking isn't just social discomfort, it's actually by design. Like, what if that cringe that we feel standing sober at a party isn't actually ours, but something that we've been trained to feel, conditioned into thinking we're the weird ones for not joining in?
I absolutely love this, Hamish. So what we're saying here is that if you're conditioned to drink, maybe you're conditioned to feel awkward if you don't drink.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, God. I think this is I think we're coming to an epiphany here, Hamish. The whole reason why we created Sober Awkward was because of that feeling that Lucy and I felt when we first got sober. That feeling of being on the outside, of not fitting in, of feeling like we're the sore thumb at any party, and that we just are no longer part of our culture and our environment and our friendships and all those things. It is what we base this podcast upon. And here we are saying that perhaps that hasn't come from us. Perhaps that's a history of alcohol intake that has caused us to feel like that. And that has been something that has been running alongside our lives for so long that we've never bothered to question it and to say, actually, I'm the one that's doing the right thing. I'm the one that's not following the government or the big corporations by stepping out of what is seemed normal. Actually, we are conditioned into feeling awkward for not drinking, and sobriety perhaps is looking outside of that and going, well, that's not true. And I'm not going to get influenced by the past. I'm going to be influenced by my own choice.
I've got a theory on this too, which I think that the awkwardness that we feel during sobriety is just us being at an early stage of a learning curve. So you're in the process of transforming, of rewiring our brains, retraining our habits. Like, we've never socialized sober before, or not since the age of about 10. And we don't see it modeled very often. So we're doing something that very few others are doing. And it takes a lot of time to get used to doing it that way. It takes practice and it takes mastering, and there is no shortcut. The shortcut to escaping awkwardness socially when you are a drinker is just drink more, and then you have less of an issue with it and you get through it. There is no shortcut when you're sober.
No.
You just have to feel it and figure it out and get on with it. So we can't just get pissed and forget it. And I feel like that is what the awkwardness is. So I don't feel like the awkwardness in sobriety is the destination. I don't think it's you go sober and then you will forever feel awkward in a social situation. I think it's just the early days. And also there are just some shit parties. I always say that.
Yeah, there are
people, sometimes a party's just rubbish, or that you just meet someone who's rubbish at conversation. There are just as many socially inept drunk people as there are socially inept sober people. Sometimes you just get unlucky. So that, I always try and remind myself of that. If I'm feeling awkward socially, I'm like, this isn't forever. I'm just figuring out how to do this without booze.
And it's interesting that the solution for that, for most people, is to have another drink, that awkwardness, which is pretty convenient for the people selling it, isn't it? And for the government who are taxing it. So it's like a perfect product, isn't it, Hamish? Not only is it addictive, it makes you feel like you fit in. It makes you feel good about yourself for a moment, for that short euphoria after one glass of wine. Of course, you go downhill from there on in. But it is like a perfect product, creating an addictive substance that is socially normalized. Absolutely brilliant, whoever came up with that, because you want more of it, you perhaps with an addiction issue in a hospital bed with liver issues. But they don't care about that because their pockets are already lined. That feels like a con. If you were to lay it out like that in front of us right now, that is a con. The government have created a product that is addictive and they're selling it legally to everybody in the world so that they then get addicted to it and then they keep buying it and then they don't give you the funds to support those people who are now dying of it. It's fucking crazy.
Well, we always say that, don't we? We say, like, this is a toxic, addictive, deadly product that the government are happy to get behind.
Endorse.
If this was invented today, it's never getting through the government.
Yeah.
This is a drug, you know?
The reason they can't stop it is because they're making so much money from it. That is the reason it's still available, because they can't give up on that 25 billion a year or however much it is. Why would the government give up on that money? They can't. So, and if they do say, well, we're going to stop serving alcohol because the masses are already addicted and it's become so important in their lives as their way of letting go and, winding down from a hard day at work, then they can't stop it because there'd be uproar because we've been convinced over time that that is what we need to be doing.
But what irritates me about that is that it's very easy to calculate the amount of money that the government can make from taxing alcohol. What is difficult to calculate is the cost of alcohol to a government. So we can figure out, okay, X amount of people are going to hospital. You can put a number on that, but the broken homes, the domestic violence, the early deaths. There's no way of monetizing the cost of that. So it's difficult for us to say, okay, governments are losing more than they're making through alcohol being legal. So that's sort of what's annoying to me is governments make loads of money from booze. That's great. And, I'm sure some of that money makes it to the right places, but what's the cost?
Yeah.
Are we net down or are we net up from alcohol?
Totally agree. And even the cost of people all over the world lying in bed with massive anxiety on a Sunday morning. That is not regulated anxiety, is it? It's probably 50% of anyone that gets pissed on a Friday or Saturday night is going to be lying in bed and having mental health issues that leak into their week of work. So therefore, the work ethic isn't going to be as strong because you're feeling like shit. Like there's losses everywhere, isn't there? But as you say, they're difficult to quantify, aren't they? So therefore there's no hard line on it because it's all smoke and mirrors. And they say, well, it does some harm. Like, there's only this percentage of people that need, that are extreme alcoholics that need this level of care. But what about the people that sit on this vast line of alcoholism, this vast spectrum that it has massive impact on, but nothing's done about it?
I guess that's the point that we're making, though, isn't it? We're not saying that the government needs to make alcohol illegal. That's never going to happen. What we are saying is that they should be more responsible towards helping those that need it. Yeah, we understand there are lots of people who can drink all of their lives without having an issue. That is fine. But to just sort of encourage it, to promote it to the amount that alcohol advertisers do, and then to just sort of leave those that have a bad relationship with it alone. Go, well, you've got AA, well, that's free. Is not doing everything they can to help those who are really struggling with this.
Yeah, because why would they? Because they're going to then expose the lie. And then it becomes that more people are aware of what we're talking about. It's fucked up, Hamish. It's really mental. So what can we do? There you go. We're gonna turn it all round, Hamish, and we're gonna feel good about it and say, what can we do to stop this?
Awareness is the best first step. Once you see how booze is sold to us, you can't unsee it. We might have just revealed that to you in this episode. There might be a few aha moments. You go, shit, that's what's going on. Yeah. So yes, awareness is a good place to start.
I think also be conscious of the messaging. Ask yourself, who's profiting from me thinking I deserve a drink? So when we have those moments, those cravings, I want to drink, instead of blaming yourself, think about who is actually profiting from me doing this? Because it's not actually you. It's somebody in an office somewhere in the city who's wearing a nice suit and has got a gold watch on. Do you know what I mean? It's not the user, that's for sure.
Talk to your mates about this. Why don't you bring up some of the topics that we've discussed in this episode? They are potentially awkward conversations. They're often confrontational conversations if you're speaking to someone who's still drinking. But I feel like there are some points to be made. Why are we all getting pissed at a kid's party, for starters?
Another thing you can do is support alcohol-free brands. Put your money where your sober mouth is. I mean, we had that sponsor Free Spirit Drink Co. recently, didn't we? They are changing the game one booze-free bevy at a time.
You can also laugh at the absurdity of it all. I think passing the blame back to the people in charge is quite empowering. It helps alleviate some of the burden that can sit on the end user's shoulders. Stop beating yourself up and realise there is a con at hand here.
Yeah, there is something bigger than us that's going on. I love it, Hamish, that we're calling boozers end users now.
Yeah,
that is.
How do we get to
this? I
this?
like it, end users. Yeah, because it does. It takes a level of blame off. Like, we are the end users of a big con that's rippled through our community and our history for many, many years. And we are now at the end of that, hopefully. And perhaps that means that there's something that has to change and turn around.
The real end user is the bathroom. Yeah. Whether or not you are going out your front or your back, that is where booze eventually led me to.
Grogbog is the end user.
Here at Sober Awkward, we like to take a soft and sometimes cheeky approach to everything. So please don't burn down any bottle shops or cuff yourself to Parliament House. Maybe just ask, who told you drinking is essential and why did you believe them?
Oh, I love that, Hamish. Who told you drinking is essential and why did you believe them? I wish somebody had said that to me when I was 14. It's so tough when the people you admire are the ones modelling booze as the answer to everything. I used to think it was harmless fun, but now I see it kept me stuck. Once you spot the con, it's everywhere. Maybe it's not your fault. Maybe we've all just been brilliantly brainwashed. So maybe it's time to fight back.
Sobriety might just be the most punk rock thing you can do whilst drinking elderflower.
Yeah. I'm sure the Sex Pistols drank elderflower, Hamish, so it is a very punk thing to do. I'm going to recommend, this would be a heavy read, I think, but there is a book called The Politics of Alcohol, A History of the Drink Question in England. It covers alcohol's broader questions about national identity, individual freedom, and the relationship between government and the market. So yeah, check that out if you are feeling like reading some analytical stuff about the con of booze.
Who's the author of that? We should get them on.
James Nichols, his name is. I'll see if I can find him. Yes, it sounds really interesting. Nichols puts these concerns that we've been talking about into a historical context by providing a detailed and extensive survey on public debates on alcohol, from the introduction of licensing in the mid-16th century through to recent conversations about 24-hour licensing, binge drinking, and the cheap sale of alcohol in supermarkets. They don't actually allow it here in Australia in supermarkets, do they, Haim? And in fact, we've noticed massively, even since both of us have been sober, there is a huge alcohol-free drinks range in our local supermarket now, which is amazing.
I've just had quite a funny image pop into my head, which I think is a good place to end this episode with.
Sandpaper rubbing together between my legs.
I'm trying to get that one out, actually. Yeah, I'm still desperately trying to rub that from my brain. I'm feeling quite fired up at the end of this episode, and I feel like some of our listeners will too. And a lot of our listeners listen to our podcasts whilst on dog walks. Yeah. So I've just thought of like somebody picking up the dog's ball to throw it and throwing it really hard and just screaming like, "Fuck you!" as they do it, just because they're really jacked up off this episode. And their confused dog will run off, or some other dog walker will complain.
Fuck off, big fucking alcohol companies! Fuck off, you fucking fuckers! I think that would be good, Hamish. If you do that, can you send us a video of it? Me and Hamish, maybe Hamish, we need to do a video of us on the beach doing this specifically for this episode.
It will look less weird if you do it because you have a dog. I'm just a guy walking around a park alone, throwing a tennis ball, shouting "fuck off."
Perhaps what you could do was like carve something hateful into a piece of wood behind your back and hand it to someone. So talk to them about this topic and then write, "I hate the government" into a piece of wood. I'll be impressed.
I hate taxes.
But make it shorter, "I hate gov," so it doesn't take you too long. You'd have to get a very long stick otherwise. Thanks for listening, everybody. Sorry it's a bit of an angry episode.
I need to go calm down. I need to get like a massage or something.
Go and get Liz to give you a massage. Go and get the baby to crawl around on your back.
Okay, yep.
Everybody do that.
It's about time.
Bye.
If you're questioning your relationship with booze, you're struggling to moderate, or your hangovers are causing anxiety, it might be time to reach out for some support.
Yeah, just talk to a mate about how you're feeling, contact a local doctor, find an AA or sobriety group. Vic's got one.
Yeah, just head to www.cuppa.community.
Remember, if you're questioning yourself, it might be time to seek support.
Even though this journey can be awkward, it is definitely worth it. And if you've enjoyed the Sober Awkward podcast, don't forget to review it, rate it, and share it with your mates.
Do they have to share it with their mates?
Yeah, of course they do. I'm not doing this for nothing, Hamish. Bloody hell.
How do they share it?
I don't know, just write it on the document.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states.
Wix. It's where website creation meets AI, and where your boldest ideas become real. It just takes one platform to build a site that looks great and does everything you need it to. And it just takes one person, you, to start taking care of business like a 10-person team. With AI tools for creating an entire website from scratch or testing new ways to make money, Wix is there with you from day one. Try it out now at Wix.com.
Hi, it's Jenny from Simple Bath and Kitchen. I'm the dreamer, always thinking about how to make a bathroom spa-worthy.
And I'm Bill, the realist, making sure the budget and timeline stay on track.
Together, we design beautiful bathrooms in 1 to 4 days.
And complete amazing kitchens in only 1 week.
Don't wait. Fall is here. Get your perfect new bath or kitchen before the holidays. Visit us at simplebathandkitchen.com or call us at 614-888-BATH.
That's 614-888-BATH.
So, as you probably know, my comedy memoir, 1,000 Wasted Sundays, is officially out. All my magnificent fuck-uppery in one awkward hit. If you'd like to get your hands on a copy, it's now available from all good bookstores.
We always say all good bookstores, don't we?
Yeah.
Are there bad bookstores?
No, it's probably ones with moody sellers.
Oh yeah, really depressed librarian folk.
Yes,
Okay,
good. So there are probably some, but we're only storing it in the good ones.
It's only made it into the goodies.
You can also get it from all good online retailers. The print version and ebook are out now, and the audiobook will be available in March. I've been writing my memoir for 5 years. It will make you laugh, cry and cringe, and hopefully inspire a few people to reconsider their relationship with booze. If you love the podcast, then I think you'll love the book, even if I do say so myself. Hamish has read it. What did you think?
I feel like I know a little bit too much about you now, to be honest, Vic. Look, I really loved it. It was hilarious and surprisingly moving, but I feel like I've seen you naked in a literary sense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's worrying.
Yeah. From an emotional point of view, seriously, it wobbled my teeny weeny wooden heart, Vic.
Okay.
My teeny little wooden heart.
Well, his wooden heart is broken. Anyway, so if you do manage to get your filthy mitts on a copy, please do me a favour and head to goodreads.com and give me a review. Doing that will help me get it out there to those that need a bit of sober support. So there you have it. My story, unwanted warts and all. Come and get awkward with me.
Not to be too demanding or anything, but seriously, go and buy it now.
Go and buy it. Go and buy it right now.
Yeah, don't just tell your friends, buy it, and then buy your friends one or two.
Yeah, don't give them a copy, buy it. Yeah.
And you know what? Don't be careful where you store it. If you lose it, you can always buy another 5.
Buy another one.
Yeah.